One and all, there's an important question that's been on the mind of every Japanese main for months now. Did the Barracks discount really do anything? Anatan is here to show us the truth. One and all, we have got Mongols up against Japanese on Dry River. This is, of course, the map where there is 6 ponds, all featuring fish. And as a result, typically what we see here is a lot of spam and spam from the Mongol side. Instead, Anatan is being the punchline. And this is implied openings. Anatan is trying to basically catch Demu off guard because normally at the moment, a lot of Mongol players rush out for the dog drop because, and this is where it gets like, 4D, 5D chess, because everyone thinks that the Mongol player is going to Rax rush them. So the thought process is no one else docks. So where we used to, once upon a time, see Mongol players would actually rush Rax, they now instead rush dogs. But credit to Demu, he rushed across the map instead and scouted that out. So he knows it's happening, has got his own Rax coming in. And it's now like, okay, we said we had 3D chess and a 4D chess, and now we got the 5D chess. Instead of now getting sucked into a war that isn't beneficial, which is mass spears, which is not beneficial because, remember, Mongols have double production and they generate stone passively. He's going to use this opportunity to try and get all the deer home. That's very crafty. Okay, that's cool. Does Demu know this map has no market? We will find out. He does have a history of Dry River and midweek musters. Maybe forgetting and building Silver Tree. Oh, that game was so good. Is there ever drama in this community? Yes. Sometimes we can't decide whether Japan or Abbasids are the worst in the game. It's Japan. A dock is a market? True, but Anatan isn't building a market, so it would be very sad for him. Very quick pushing, by the way. This is a little tip for you guys. It's actually a lot easier to deer shove, on average anyway. Like, obviously, it comes down to positioning, with spearmen than it is with scouts. Because spearmen have a lower aggro range on deer than almost any unit in the game. So you can see he can get really, really close before the deer react. Gives you a little bit more finite control over where you push him. Great shove, though, with just 2 spears. Most people would like to go, like, 3. The reason 2 is a really important number here is he saved 75 resources building the racks. So pretty much like 1 spearman extra compared to another 6. That's important, considering that Demu had to spend on the initial. And he didn't just stop on the initial, guys. He went 5 spears, and he's also going to be going for a deer shoving. His was a lot more expensive. Yeah, even with the passive stone gen. I guess you don't usually get that worried about the idea that Japan would go Yumi. The spearmen should keep value down the line because most Japanese players are going to rush castle. Especially when they get 2,450 food underneath their TC, as well as 14 sheep, well, which is going to be another 28. And we are going to get Kura for even more food. Yeah, this is fast castle. You don't normally see Kura unless someone's FC. We'll see, though. He is moving across now with the spearmen. Is there a world in which you Bugeisha? Feudal Bugeisha is a strategy I have not seen in quite some time. It technically can be good. But you could argue that about a lot of things in life. I think it's incredibly situational. The only time I felt like mass feudal Bugeisha is good is when you have a lot of economy. And I mean a lot. Like you got 2 deer stacks plus ball. Because remember, Bugeisha, very, very flimsy units. They're pretty much cannon fodder design. And they're all about raw number to overwhelm. It's the same idea as to why like scaling horsemen is very difficult. Why did Japan fall off? FC Mountain Samurai was the rage last patch. Did you skip Season 9 entirely? Japan was barely seen in Season 9 outside of some sort of water hybridization. The problem is, like, the average Tom, Dick, and Harry might struggle very much with Mount Samurai because they're very oppressive knight type. But at the pro level, probably the worst thing you can have about Civ is linearity. If you are too predictable, you are countered. Even really powerful approaches, like we've seen the House of Lancaster mana spam is starting to get countered by Ram Rush all-ins. It's not 100% because those manas are really overtuned, but if your Civ isn't insanely overpowered, and your opponent knows what you're going to do, they have ample time to counter that. So it's very different compared to reacting to a play in the moment versus reacting 5 minutes ahead of time. And that's the thing with Japan. Japan fundamentally hasn't really changed for the better for most. The one change was Koka Township became a bit more viable with more land. But with the Kuro Storehouse, this is usually meant to be like an old school feudal into castle rush. What's interesting is Anatan didn't do that. He dropped the archery range. I wondered if he would against Spimen. He also added in the Bugeisha. It feels like this is meant to be a bait and switch. And he has actually achieved making Demu build archers. So like, if Anatan wants to keep playing the Age, I've got to be thinking Horseman, surely. Because against Mongol double production, it's very hard to get ahead of them with Yumi. Let's see, maybe he thinks the Bannerman timing is efficient enough. He's got some way to go to get it. Steel Arrow is going to be rushed up. We do have an outpost now coming on the gold. And Demu, he's actually adding in the Khan Hunter. Yeah, Yumi. As much as I love this unit, it feels like Anatan might be countering himself. Such an odd unit, I think, Yumi are. Like, most archers can obviously very hard counter spearmen, but they can do okay against other unit types. With Yumi, it feels like if you're not attacking a spearman, you hate life. Where Yumi actually looks best, guys, is when you're going castle. So you bulk like 20-25 Yumi feudal, and then you get castle age. And yeah, it looks like I think that is his intent. Okay, we didn't talk about predictions. 81% for Anatan. Okay, people clearly have been holding that Silver Tree trade game over Demu's head. Chill. Honestly, with it being a Kuro Storehouse, I would have started to lean Demu favored. But the issue is he never went for the Pons at all. And obviously you can't do Silver Tree on this map, so he doesn't really have any economical edge. It could be that he goes step readout. I don't know if you can do fast Imperial against Japan. Just because of how good Mount Samurai are. Oh my god. If Anatan lobs the Yumi, gets in position and attacks, this could be overwhelming. He's on the move. Why deer stones don't spawn deers? There's a landmark that does that in the Castle Age. Might be a bit crazy to have a landmark that does that in the feudal. Then again, like, that landmark does a bunch of other things. I think they just didn't want to go for a boring direction of how to make deer stones good. So they chose like a different approach, which is the Khan Hunter, which is a pretty cool approach, actually. Okay, so we do have the Daimyo upgrade coming in. I wonder, does Anatan just switch stables now? Like every Japanese player does. No, he's sticking to his guns. Okay, we, I think, have a aggressive Yumi timing here. Oh, this is so exciting. Yumi wrapping around the back. The other issue here is like you need to play near the outpost, or you can't actually pursue them. I think that's why Anatan isn't going to dive in. We don't have a stable. Okay, there we go. Stable's coming in now. So this is just going to be a standard switch into Knights. He's not going to try to bulk Yumi. To be honest, if you were going to bulk Yumi, you would have started adding more by now. Wait. Ooh. I mean, that's not exactly a lot more, though. I'm talking like 15, 20, 25 pretty fast. Imagine Khan Hunter could pro scouts without the upgrade. I just don't think that's necessary. So what you just described there is Mongols having 2 eco landmarks. That's what you just said. Because they already have an eco landmark called Silver Tree. And also, by the way, Deerstone has become the dominant pick. Silver Tree fell off really hard in the meta. So I don't actually feel like Deerstone needs buffs right now. Baseline, I could agree Mongols maybe need a few tunage points there. But landmark-wise, not so much. In fact, landmark-wise, they might need some adjustments to Karganet Palace. And there we go. Okay, he is going for it. It's going to be Veteran Yumi plus the Mount Samurai. Mongol Whipples and Castle? No, I don't like the idea of stripping their unique identity away. I'd rather have things like Uvus work even when packed up. That'd be really cool. But I think I had a really interesting idea of like Mongols could could pro scout to the ball. I'm not entirely sure that would feel balanced, but if it was the Khan, like if you got pro scouts and the Khan specifically could like do the ball, that would be maybe quite cool. Okay, so Demu, he has got the right idea going into crossbows, but I don't know if he was really expecting the Yumi to be upgraded. He's going to get eyeballs on this pretty quick. Another nice thing, when you get a Khan Hunter, you now have 100% uptime on Falcon Scouts. Improve Pro Scouts? Yeah, like improve Pro Scouts, and then like if you're worried that it's going to make like ball OP, then just make it so only the Khan Hunter can pull the ball. Because then if you like kill the Khan Hunter, the players can't. So it's high risk, high reward. Okay, high risk here for Demu. Has got the troops in position though. That outpost is going to be a sore nuisance here for Anatan on the approach. It just guarantees that the crossbow shot should actually penetrate the armor. Behind this, good things are happening for Anno though. He can just rush the relics. I don't expect Demu to mirror that play. He's got other concerns right now, like having enough crossbows to not die. Oh, sorry, did I say Uvu should be able to move? I meant Gur. Have a Gur be able to move. So I think Gurs should be that they can move and be dropped off at. You shouldn't have to unpack them to drop off. Sorry, I was going to sneak in here. I mean, chip raids is really all Anatan needs. It's an eco-even game, but it won't be for long. And that's why. I was about to say, Anatan's lead mathematically didn't make sense. It's the Daimyo mana having the Oroshiro drop. All of a sudden, producing villages every 15 seconds. Second Shinto is there. He's already got one relic home. I mean, at this rate, there's going to be nothing left on the map for Demu. Mass Mongol towers in late game look stupid. You rarely ever see them though, unless you're playing 3-4. At the highest level, we very rarely see someone able to set up mass Mongol towers. It's very difficult. You need a spawn that is so worth it, it's ridiculous. There's going to be more poke coming in from Anno. He's benefiting too much from the dive. Reminder of what's happening behind this. Anno wants to keep his opponent on the base. Oh, that might be a bit obvious. Demu's going to push this now to try and get the kill on the Shinto. Go peel him in arms to chase him. Yeah, because this is the obvious thing you can't let happen. If Anatan gets all the relics home, that's like 10 more villages. I kind of respect the attempt to drop the relic instead of what most people do, which is just press wall lol and still die. Some kind of strong defensive building later would be cool for them. I think Mongols, like, they do have the defensiveness of those outposts I mentioned. It's hard to set up, but at the same time, you simultaneously said once they're set up, it's like kind of crazy. So, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it there. It's either you have an insane defensive strategy, but it's really hard to do, or you have an easy to do defensive strategy, but it's not very good. You see the issue of having both? The issue of having both is you create Roost Palisades again. Until they done the change on build speed, was insanely impressive. And I love this. We're getting double TC Song Dynasty Japanese with the Yoroshiras. Come on, Mount Samurai, just kind of stretching Demu. Seems like Mongols against Lancaster would be impossible. It's, yeah, like I'm trying to, so I don't think, if you play against Lancaster, I don't think your goal is all-in harassment. Your goal is poke, force reaction, and we've actually got a game between Kraken and Anatan that shows you what you do. That'll end up on the YouTube channel, by the way, so keep an eye out for it, if it's not already up there. It's what you do is you can rush Imperial. Any chance we see Mr. back in with the Harvest Season in Greece? No. Mr. just won an Age of Mythology tournament. I think you will not see Mr. back in AoE4 unless Myth dies. I would say Myth, and I say this as someone who actually enjoys the concept of the game, just loves the campaign, loves a lot about it. I think Myth is like maybe got a year. Okay, it'll keep existing, but Myth had a big hype spike and then fizzled out. And I've talked about why extensively on this channel before. The issue of Age of Mythology is it is an old game, there was a niche game, there's remade. It'll have nostalgia value, initial impact, and then people disperse. It's very hard to attract new players to old games. It's not impossible. It can actually work when you're team-based as well, but like it's very, very hard. So like typically it's much better to just build a new game, which is why I still stand by my statement that Age of Mythology 2 would be a big, big spike. One that would last. Anatan's just doing a very good job of controlling that. And there it is. As expected, it is going to be the fast Imperial build. Demu, pre-17 minutes going for it. Cargonet Palace on the way. So remember, this generates somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 resources per minute with Military Academy. And you can see he's priming the timing. Very, very powerful play. At this stage in the game, that's equivocal to adding in an extra 25% to your economy. Anatan's not doing too bad himself. He's going to be stuck an age behind, but militarily, shouldn't be too worried straight away. One concern is going to be the farm transition. He hasn't begun it yet. What about Military Academy Advanced? It's very stone expensive. 350. 20% extra is pretty nice. It will ramp you up even more. But I think the prerogative is probably just like he's thinking about getting his hands on maybe extra unit production initially. We'll see though. Like there's a bunch of things that are quite nice improved. Like improved biology, for example. That's a long way off. 1,500 stone. Okay, Anatan, he knows his punishment time. You can't let him Imperial for free. It's the quickest way to lose against Mongols. Ankan has been queued up. Elite Horse Archer can be the first ones out, but those are going to struggle against the Yumi. The Mad Samurai now looking for targets. They're going to dive onto the tree line. Yumi are left to contest with a full army here. Bannerman does get dropped. He's being pushed out of the range. One Mad Samurai will go for the cleanup on the villagers. It does pin him against the tree line. No textiles here, I'm afraid. So Demu now a raw 25 villagers behind the Japanese. Anatan, he's not skipping a beat here. Look at the macro. He's rushing for Imperial. Anyone had the same graphics engine as AoE4 would be good. I don't know if the engine that AoE4 uses would capture the essence of Myth well. Myth has a bigger problem of being an old game and being a very punishing RTS experience. If you don't understand Myth, it is very, very polarizing. Like StarCraft levels of polarizing. And most players don't like that feeling of being confused. Some treat it like a puzzle to be solved. Like, oh, this build is broken, how do I beat it? But a lot of people don't. And that's why a fresh game would be like very different. That's why AoE4 done reasonably well in the end. It's a new game, so you reset the playing field. Like, yes, you've got StarCraft pros and whatever coming over, but it's not like you've got someone playing for 20 years who just wins because they played that game for 20 years. But the other thing is also the pacing, etc. I sometimes wish that pacing would improve. Honestly, I think eventually you will see the pacing of AoE4 ramped up, whether it's more villager starts or faster speed. Similar to what StarCraft does, where they like increase the starting work. Do I think free textiles would be too good for Mongols? What, you mean like at the start of the game? Way too good. How do you stop an outpost rush against textiles? I think like even then an outpost rush can work against English. Crazy that most AoE4 didn't play AoE2. That's because like AoE2 demands your commitment for many, many years to be on top. There's a lot to them throw away to switch. And what's up, Rai Sharant? That's not a lot to throw away. A nice free sub to give over. A smart way to use it. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the support. Yeah, if you think about the meta of like gaming nowadays as well, people don't really commit to games that long. There are like a fraction of the community, as you see with AoE2, StarCraft, etc. But the mass majority flock game to game. And they'll revisit, by the way. Like, the amount of people who are going to revisit AoE4 because of Knights and Cross and Rose, but then leave in 2 months is going to be crazy. Seasonal gaming, folks. AoE2 boring if you compare to AoE4? I enjoy both. Maybe that's a pop out in people's eyes, but I see the merit in both. Both have some really cool aspects. We have got this toxic outpost we talked about, and he went for cannon placements, but they barely get any value. That's such a waste. Anatan just no chill here. It's kind of crazy, actually. We thought he was going to go for Imperial Age. Slow down. Rush it. This is beneficial for Demu, though. He's just getting more and more free Imperial armies the longer you wait. And it's starting to feel like Anatan could be forced into a Castle of the Crow. I think that's why he's diving like this, though. Yeah, because it creates the illusion that you're all in. And it means that Demu cannot rush your base when this happens. Tanegashima Gunsmith now on the way. Okay, so this could turn into a hand cannoneer race. And a hand cannoneer race is very interesting between Mongols and Japanese. One side is DPS focused, the other is movement speed, range focused. But the movement speed requires aura extension, which you don't have. So that just leaves you with range. The range is pretty good though. So if we click on the hand cannons, you'll see here, they're up at 5 tile range, there's an extra +1. But that can be offset literally within the first shots of the fight. The issue, of course, for Anatan is going to be getting kind of scaling. AoE2 viewers don't necessarily play the game? Exactly. And that's like another thing I mentioned before. Like, 4's viewership may not be that high compared to 2 and StarCraft because you don't have legacy players. A lot of the best esports scenes have existed for 10 or 20 years. Because what that brings is it brings with a casual notion of I no longer play, but I watch Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, Dota 2, League of Legends, StarCraft, AoE2, Warcraft. Look at the amount of people revisiting Warcraft. World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft's also very uniquely different. Like, Race to World first, even if you're an active player, the level of like activity like inclines you to watch it, especially considering they're doing content you want to be into. Yeah. Like I said, games are seasonal, but people return to their season, like their original game. You have to treat gaming like a contraction, like contracting, expanding. So the pool of like games available is there, and people's interest expands, but then it contracts back to the origin, which is like a Dota 2 or Counter-Strike, etc. Nice patience by Anna. Demu realizes he can't dive, not the sugar castle. However, we do have double Pow. Love what he's doing. He's going for the bounty focus. He's buying time because he's got the hand cannon near lead. I think we've got a full Battle of Nagashino on our hands. Google that if you're not familiar. Or just play Samurai Warriors. Mass hand cannoneer versus mass heavy samurai. I know, is he thinking about just going for the base? That's very smart. Your opponent can't necessarily dive in. No, because like this rocket launcher will just kill him. But you can dive him. Oh, this is sick. Demu's kind of stuck. If he comes home now, he's going to be too late to defend anyway. Wee still going after the tiny buildings. Mad Samurai now with the dive in. It's so many samurai. I know, he's not sending everything in right now. He's checking if there's cannon emplacements. That's actually genius. If there's cannon emplacements, he loses a lot fast. Instead, it's just going to be a small amount of spirals and then arrow shots. Dives in even deeper, finds another wee power for free. Villager count is going down fast. Demu is in full emergency mode. He needs to go. And he doesn't want to. Because we play a medieval RTS, and yet for some reason, this Civ has a rocket launcher. Did I just open Age of Empires 4, or did I just open Team Fortress? Samurai able to idle out the main base. No food income now for Demu. No extra troops coming, barred the free ones from Karganet. Time appropriately being bought here. Going after additional landmarks. But like, the problem is really the Shogunate. Not to mention the fact Anatan, he's got tickets stockpiling for a pull. And plenty of hand cannon queued up. Looks like the Cognate reinforcements are actually trying to contest the Mounted Samurai. Wait, he could just landmark snipe it. I actually think this is enough Mounted Samurai. If you clear the outpost to just take out the landmarks quicker. He's going to have to come home. And yeah, you can see it. The army's on the way. But the damage is already done. It's 45 villages to 114. Mongols are trying to play like it's the 22nd century. All workers' jobs have been replaced by AI. The Cognate is how we prefab. I just don't think it's going to prefab quick enough. Someone activate overclocking mode because this thing just can't keep up. Jimmy's like, but look at the positives, guys. I can build a lot more military now. I just need to survive 10 more minutes. Sure, buddy. You can survive. It's going to be hard. So let's look at the positives here. Demu pretty much has enough buildings to garrison his whole economy. It's very efficient when you only have 38. Look at that. See, 14 villages. You just need to get in the outpost in time. And meanwhile, oh no, the Ford army, the people power, they're gone. The chase is on. Springs the trap. Reminder, Yumi Bannerman does work with the hand cannoneers. An extra 5 damage in there. I think Anatan's just done it. Like, I think if Demu somehow pulls this out of the bag, Backstab now comes in from Mount Samurai. His hand cannoneers have arrived for the main fight. This should just end up being a wipe. It's just too much heavy cav. With Bannerman Aura especially. Could have taken the Deer Stone to the front. It wouldn't have done anything. The problem is you can't rush dive a Shogunate. And that's what Anatan was so brilliant with. He realized it. But hey, man, like, you know, fast Imperial Mongols, you don't need villages, right? Just Cognate it up, bro. It's only 113 villages. You can see what he wants to do as well. He really wants to go for that gold again. Meanwhile, back in on the pastures. Just checking, is anyone still alive here? Jeez, this Mongol base is like looking at the aftermath of, was it Chicago in Invincible? After they fight there. Like, hey, is anyone still alive here? I found an arm and a leg, but I just can't seem to find the head. Meanwhile, Anatan is like, oh, gold's getting a little bit slim here, boys. I don't think Demu's going to need this with 44 villages. I'll just borrow it instead. I need to be a bit respectful of Cannibals, because he is bringing the Anthony across. Ah, yes. When everything looks grim and the game looks over, remember, Magnet. Actually, in fairness, Khan Hunter plus the extra range, you can just keep kiting hand cannons. So this is like one of those technically moments. You know where like you're technically 40 great bombards can be unlimited men at arms. Technically. This is doesn't usually play out. Humans just throw themselves into the base. Like, boys, it's been good knowing you. It's time to replace you with something actually useful. I think he won't tap out as long as he's got this gold. Step Redoubt is at least just allowing to flood extra HCs. And Magadai. Both heavy on gold. Mongol defense so hard? Yeah, but that's why you let all the villagers die. Guys, come on. Defending as Mongols is easy if you don't have to worry about villagers. Just automate your economy. Build a Cognate today. Okay, has Demu just had enough of sitting back and getting beaten? Feels that way? The disposition doesn't feel good. No. The amount of samurai on the charge. Uma Bannerman aura isn't affecting all of them, but most of them still. The hand cannon near aura is just the big game changer. This is over. That's a wipe. That's game. There are 2 civs in the game that would be at 42 villages at 30 minutes and still think they have a chance of winning. Lancaster and Mongols. But those 2 civs are fueled and compelled by different elements. I feel like Lancaster could justify that maths a lot more than Mongols. What a cool game. Disappointed. No Domaru armor. Yeah, he's only getting it now. It's too late. It doesn't count anymore. Domaru armor is almost like a reinforcement pack because when you're in a fight, it's useless, but it's great for getting your new troops here because it moves quicker when you have the deflect armor. All right, guys. Have you ever wondered what Mongol Imperial looks like with under 20 villages? We're about to find out. Oh no, he calls it curtains closed on this one. Anatan is rolling through Benny Boy. Oh man, what a crazy game. What do you guys think of this one? We don't often see Japan like this against Mongols. I know a lot of people also been struggling with the Mongol Imperial Rush. Did this solve some problems in your eyes? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you in the next chapter.